Hey there, it's Mitzi. Welcome to my channel. If you watched my last video, you know that I'm in the same shirt. I decided just to video back to back because I had a video I wanted to do for the picture of this readathon, but I also just went to a library sale and I was excited to share my books. And that is one of the reasons I have joined BookTube, is because I just love watching book hauls, library sales, and I like to share when I get a new book too. And so I was really excited about this. So I hopped in the car this past weekend and I went to a book sale, and so I wanted to share that with you today. And they had some great ones. The first one was American History Timeline of the Civil War, The Ultimate Guide to the War That Defined America. Now I picked this up because I just recently read Gone with the Wind, and now I'm super interested in knowing more about the Civil War. Now, of course, I know pretty much the basics of the Civil War, and I had to teach Civil War things from the South Carolina point of view when I taught school, because there was a time when I taught South Carolina history. Now, I didn't do that the whole time, but there was many years that I taught South Carolina history, and of course we taught about the Civil War then. So I know the basics, but I don't really know all of the details. And of course I was teaching it at an elementary grade level, so it was very basic. So I'm really interested in learning more about the generals and the different war battles in the Civil War, and just the ins and outs that I need to fill in within my timeline of the Civil War. And this one is just a beautiful illustrated timeline. There's lots of pictures, there's lots of illustrations in this one. I don't know if you can see these pictures, but there's a lot of illustrations, and at the bottom it has the timeline, and at the top there's illustrations, and then just descriptions of what's going on, more details about it. And I just thought this will be a fun one just to pick up every now and then and read. And it was a beautiful one, and it was super cheap, so I picked that up. The next one I picked up was, this doesn't have the cover, the dust jacket, but it is a D.E. Stevenson book. And I read my first D.E. Stevenson, Miss Bunkle's book, which I loved. It was a 5-star read. It was fantastic. So this one is called Anna and Her Daughters, and I don't know anything about it. Again, there's nothing you can see except for on the spine, Anna and Her Daughters. And I want to read more D.E. Stevenson, so I picked that up. And this one was a great find because I want to read more Rosamund Pilcher. And this one is called Coming Home. I read Winter Solstice in December. I buddy read that one, and oh, I loved it. I loved her writing, and I knew I would be picking up more Rosamund Pilcher. And I'm thinking about picking up Shell Seekers too, because I know that's one of her famous ones. And Coming Home was on my list as well, so I was excited to find this because this is a pretty hefty book, and it was a hardback for, I think I got this for $1. I think that's how much it was. So, and I also got a discount because I'm a friend of the library, so I get a discount when I go to these library sales, so I'm sure it was cheaper than that. Then I found this that I loved. This is a cloth bound cover of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and I just thought, okay, I have that book. I might have 2 copies of this book, but I got it anyway. And speaking of Lewis Carroll, I also found this, Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll, in this cool edition. It's got a pretty picture on the front. I don't know if you can see that. Did I need this? No. But I picked it up anyway. And it's got these great little illustrations on the inside, if you can see that. So I was excited to get those to add to my vintage book collection, because I do like vintage books on my shelf. And I don't know what it is, but there's something that makes me happy holding an old book like this. I like the cloth bound. I don't know, it's just makes me happy. So I picked that one up. This is one, I have read one by Shannon Hale, and I have, Hale, I don't know how to say her last name. And I read the Book of 1,000 Days. Is that what it was called? Something like that. And I loved it. It was a great book. I thought that was a 5-star read. So I wanted to read more because I've heard great things about The Goose Girl. And so I haven't read this one, but I keep saying I'm going to pick it up. I have Austenland. I hadn't read that one either. I know that that's more YA stuff, so I'm not sure how I'll feel about that one. This may be too, but because it's a fairy tale, I think I would enjoy it more. And again, I enjoyed that other one, Book of 1,000 Days, so I think I'll enjoy this one too. Oh, and this one I was really excited about because this has been, I have had this in a cart on one of the online bookstores forever, and that is the Romanov Sisters. As soon as I saw it, I definitely wanted to pick this one up. This has been one that I have been super interested in for a very long time, so I picked that one up. And then this was a happy surprise too, because I'm reaching down, I'm sorry, the basket's on the floor. This was one I had never heard of, but it's by Shirley Jackson, and I love the Honing and Hill House. I love We've Always Lived in the Castle, and I also have a great short story collection of Shirley Jackson. I've enjoyed that as well. But this is called Just an Ordinary Day, and it apparently, in the front it says, the 54 stories in this edition represent the great diversity of her work, from humor to shocking explorations of the human psyche. And apparently these were found after she passed away. These were some unpublished stories. And so if you follow my channel, you know that I am hosting a short story readathon during the month of May. So this was perfect timing. And so it's called Just an Ordinary Day, and I can choose some of these to dip in and out of this book for the short story collection. So I was really excited to find this one because I didn't even know this one existed. I've never even heard of it before. But it's called Just an Ordinary Day. So I am really interested in checking that one out during the short story readathon. And then I picked up this one. This one has also been on my radar for a very long time. It is by Nathaniel Philbrick, and it is Mayflower. Now, I heard about this one from somewhere on BookTube. I think I've heard about it several times on BookTube, and it is called Sarah's Key, and I think this is based in World War II. I've heard great things about it, and actually when I went to pay for these books to purchase them at the library sale, one of the ladies was like, oh, I loved that book, have you read it? And she was like, you're gonna love that one. So that made me even more excited to read it. Sarah's Key. Don't know anything about it, but I heard it was a great one. And I love historical fiction, so I thought that would be good. And then I picked up this one. This is actually a signed copy by Kate Morton. I've read a couple of Kate Morton's and I enjoyed them. This is The Clockmaker's Daughter by Kate Morton, and so I thought I would try that one too. And then the last two is part of a series that I was interested in. I've heard a lot about it on BookTube, but when I saw it, I thought, I'm going to try that out. I heard that you could read these in any order. If not, let me know that in the comments. But it's from the Elm Creek Quilts series, and it's by Jennifer, how do you say her name? Shiverini? I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but you probably know the series I'm talking about. This one is called the New Year's Quilt. And then the other one is the Winding Ways Quilt. The Winding Ways. So these are two. And then I had already picked up at Goodwill the Aloha Quilt. And I think that's in the same, that's in the same series. So I have not tried any of them, but I was super interested. I love quilts. I thought that would be, sounds cozy to me, so I was interested in picking those up too. So those are the books that I picked up at the library sale a couple of days ago, and I just wanted to share those with you. Have you read any of these? Where should I start with first? Let me know that in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.